Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at the full moon or lunar eclipse, the second half of the eclipses of October of 2023. It's occurring on October 28th of 2023 on Halloween weekend, so it should be fun. My name is Vickieverlie and you're watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube. Do not be fooled by imposters. This is going to be a psychic or intuitive astrology reading. So although it's based in astrology, I do color outside the lines quite a bit as I get downloads and messages from my guides. Okay, so here it is. This is the full moon in Taurus. The last of the full moon eclipses in Taurus, the last of these two. So here's what's been happening. Here's just a blank wheel so we can get a little bit better explanation or an idea. So we have Taurus and Scorpio. So there's been a series of eclipses as the nodes traveled through Taurus and Scorpio axis over the last just about 2 years. So this is the last one in Taurus, and we're switching over, and now they're going to be in Aries and Libra. There'll be the next eclipses over the end of this year and into next year are going to be in the axis of the Aries and the Libra. So it's a big shift in energy overall. There's a big shift in consciousness. So this is the very last one, and it's almost like it's going out with the bang because it's conjunct Jupiter in Taurus also. So anytime you have Jupiter involvement in any kind of transit, it's always going to be accentuated, expanded upon. It's going to be bigger, better, more. It's the great benefic. It draws attention to, and it expands that energy. So as we just want to look at the sign of Taurus on its own, Taurus rules over, well, money in the flat wheel because it rules the second house of money and finances. Taurus is an earth sign, so everything earthy, having to do with buildings, possessions, gardening, soil, down to earth. Taurus is also very much having tied into music. It's ruled by Venus, and it's one of the two Venusian ruled signs there. We do have Taurus is ruled by Venus. Oh, I didn't do the thing on this one. But also Libra is ruled by Venus. And yeah, I always find that the Venus energy expressed through the Libra energy often is more visual, like art, fashion, things like this. Whereas the Taurus energy, especially because the Taurus energy rules the throat chakra, it's more musical. And that's how we sing, we make audible as humans. We're audible through our throat chakra, right? Through singing, speaking, etc. That thing just moved on its own again, didn't it? Anyways, yeah, so that could also be an expression of the Taurus energy. Yeah, and it's money, possessions, and it's also fixed. Tauruses are notoriously stubborn. You've heard stubborn as the bull, right? Well, that is also something that's fixed and not wanting to change, being very fixed in planting that flag and not wanting to, this is how I feel and this is how it's going to be. So there could be an element of that, but also when we get these eclipses, these are the things that eclipse, especially a full moon or a lunar eclipse, what it can really show us, because ultimately these types of eclipses bring things to light. It's a north node eclipse, sort of, because the north node is in Aries, it was in Taurus, but it's still a full moon lunar eclipse, and it's the last in the series of the Taurus eclipses for quite some time. So it can possibly show us what could be revealed. Something could be revealed. It could, what could be revealed is where we are being stubborn, where we are refusing to change, where we are, digging our heels in and huffing and puffing, and they're showing me like the bull, and stuff's coming out of their nostrils like smoke, and they're, how the bull does that, digging their front hoof into the ground and snorting and huffing and things like that. So it could show us, ouch, it could show us where we've been maybe a little bit like that, where we let things get, there could be some blow-ups. There could be some blow-ups in long simmering things, because that's what the Taurus interaction is for them usually, Tauruses aren't quick to action in anything, but when they blow, and I've seen it before in Taurus and Scorpio. They'll just get real quiet, and then all of a sudden, there she blows. That's what the guides are saying. There she blows. Yeah, so with the Jupiter, so that kind of, that kind of energy could even be more, there could add fuel to that, or be more expressed, or more accentuated or expressed or whatever. But also, now there's many positive things. This is a great time, maybe to, well, it's a lunar eclipse, but we could be releasing any kind of things like that, but also things could come to light regarding financial things, regarding property, real estate, regarding career and money things. And with Jupiter, it often brings, this element of luck and good fortune and things like this. So, it could play both ways. But things are, it's a culmination and it's an end of this whole cycle that's been going on for, over a year. It's also making aspects. So, of course, it's, we've got the sun, the moon conjunct Jupiter, that's the full moon. And because it's a full moon, that means it's opposing the sun. And then we have the sun energy conjunct Mercury and Mars. Mercury and Mars are in a pretty tight orb conjunction here with 10 and 11 degrees respectively, okay? So that's pretty tight there. Mercury-Mars, well, Mercury-Mars together in the sign of Scorpio, that stinging Scorpio energy could come out. There could be, when I said, I was going to say some stingers, and the guide said some zingers. And I think that's also true. There could be some zingers flying around here. But also, we've got to bring into this thing. There's another big player in this these low degrees. We've got this, and then we've got old Saturn over here. Saturn is involved too. Pretty tight orb. It's a sextile to the full moon and trining the sun over here, 0 degrees to the 5. So Saturn, these could be anytime Saturn's involved, number one, karmic, often very, very karmic energy. Saturn is the lord of the karma, in fact. So there could be very karmic situations playing out, happening, etc. But also Saturn, talking about what Saturn working with Taurus energy. These are foundational things. These are things that I often bring up this, observation is that Saturn rules the bones in our body. And without our bones in our body, we'd be a lump of flesh on the ground, okay? We need structure in our life. We need foundational things, structural things in our lives to build upon and make these foundations and making these long-lasting situations, or getting on these timelines that we would be on for a very long time. Overall, one of the big themes I feel with Saturn and Pisces, which I'm starting to discover here, is, because Pisces energy is the intangible, it's the spiritual, it's the subconscious mind, it's the moon, it's all these things that are not kind of out of the realm of the 3D reality, okay, that are always there, that are always flying around. The universe is always broadcasting. One of my very first videos, the universe is always broadcasting. But it's up to us as incarnates in the 3D vehicle, the physical vehicle here, to bring these things into matter, into the physical matter, And that is a big thing that's going to be going on with the Saturn energy. The Saturn being in Pisces is acting as a conduit to bring these higher dimensional frequencies down into the earth, to bring these spiritual insights and these spiritual knowings that we have, these just things that we just know, and you don't know why you know it, but you just know it. And it's vast, and it's many layered again. So it could be things that are through the collective, of course, but also in our personal lives, for sure. These things that we always kind of had this feeling about, always kind of had this knowing about. And then Saturn, it could be an external thing too. It may not, but with the Mars and Mercury, this is very much about taking action too. It could be an active thing, but overall, this could just be, it could be shown to us in the external world. it could show up in the Saturnian world. Precognitive dreams the guides are coming through with. You know, we can be having these dreams or these. I just had one last night about this place. I'm there all the time in my astral travels. It's some kind of, it's almost like a resort or something, and I feel like there's like stadium, beach houses, but there's all kinds. There's always like weird sea creatures and animals there, and it's always a little different, but kind of the same place, you know. And I visit there often in the astral plane. I was just there last night too, and this morning as I was woken up, I was visiting there again. So it could be things like that, because there are always these repeating themes. They're always kind of swimming around. They're always kind of there, and you know, this can be some concrete. You know, maybe let's take my thing. I don't think it's a real place in this world. my resort or beach, my shore that I'm always at there, the place by the shore. But let's say it was, you know, and then maybe I'm scrolling on, you know, the internet and I see that place. Oh my God, it's a real place. I can go there. You know, so that's how it could be like in the external world. It can be like, well, this really exists. Or, you know, if depending on your ambitions or whatever, it could even be like, you know, I'm going to build this thing. I'm having this dream of this place every night, or yeah, I don't know how many things I've made and, you know, created from art, you know, that came from like a dream. Many things have come from dreams or visions or whatever, and then trying to, you know, actively trying to create it in the physical reality. But it doesn't have to be it can be a state of being. It can be a movement with the Mars-Mercury, you know, it can be a movement. You know, it could be like what happened with me too. You know, it's something that's always been wrong, you know, but it's always been there. But this is like a movement to bring it into just our 3D consciousness, you know, because there's all these layers, you know. So it's up here floating around in the Neptunian, you know, areas up here. There's all this energy floating around, and then there's this plane, and then the astral plane, and then here's us. So, you know, we can get about this far maybe, or this far, whilst in our everyday consciousness, so they have to come down. You know, so this is that bridging that to the very highest realms. And it can just manifest in all kinds of ways, you know, all kinds of ways. But while staying grounded, because we're dealing with Saturn, we're dealing with Taurus, we're dealing with Jupiter and Taurus. So we are staying grounded in the physical 3Ds with our feet on the ground and the energies coming through. In the same realm here of this Taurus Piscean energy, we've got the Neptune. This is a long-standing thing, and Pluto's involved too. But in these same two, you know, archetypes, these same two higher vibrational expressions, we've got the Neptune, which is the whole ruler of the Pisces. You know, it's the ruler of the Pisces and this higher subconscious or unconscious realm. And then Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is all about, you know, space, aliens, exploring higher realms. So we've got, it's coming in a couple different ways, you know, and there are so many people awakening now too, which is great, you know. And then we bring in the Pluto. But what I was saying about it, there's all this grounding earth element to kind of ground it in through the Uranus and the Taurus. Well, even in the Jupiter and the Taurus too. You know, we've got this Taurus energy to really ground it in. And then we've got this, you know, Capricorn, which is the ruler of Saturn, also very earthy and very much grounded in the earth plane. And the builders, you know, the builder. These are the building blocks times, that's what they're saying. The building blocks for a new reality, that's what my guides are saying. Yeah, I like that one. Also at this time we've got this Uranus trining the Venus here. So that's really cool too. You know, and we've got this big stellium here in Virgo, but really it's Venus, you know, and the rest of them, this is the asteroid Juno and then Lilith, and these are just points. This is the vertex and the part of fortune. But Venus is empowered. You know, Venus got her peeps over here. Venus, they're gathering, you know, Venus is gathering her strength. In the sign of Virgo, which the first thing that comes to mind, I know it's detriment or it's fall or something, it's not a good placement, but we got to use the energy, how we use the energy, we got to use it the way it's being presented or whatever. There's always a way to use it. And, it's Virgo's healing. This could be very much healing time. We do have the Chiron over here, which is, getting into that close conjunction with that node. Healing ourselves in the first person here, in the first house, in the first person. And then we can be the healer. Physician, heal thyself, and then we can be the healer, It's always funny, like, people listen to, why would you listen to somebody's advice when their life is a mess, I see this about love a lot of times. People are giving love advice, and I'm just like, why are you listening to that person's advice about love when, their life is a crazy mess, but, so, you want to have it, well, if you're in just this, coming at it from this way again, you want to go through somebody who has it together, and it's good to admire people, and it's good to, look up to people and take advice from people, and everybody needs that, and we can't just be, that's totally the ego when you're not listening to anybody else. But just be aware of who you're listening to. And the guides have been coming through with this so much lately. To thy known self be true. Even if there's somebody that you totally is your role model and you think is so cool. And it could be a real person that you know in your life, or even somebody, a celebrity or whoever, or athlete, people look up to these different people. A doctor or a scientist or astronaut or whoever, whoever it is. You still got to do you, You could, be inspired by them, not try to be them, you know what I mean? So be inspired by them. Be inspired by them, but then go ahead and do it in your own way. You do you, But this Chiron, this North Node approaching the Chiron conjunction, that's going to be a big thing. But, this whole thing with the Uranus here, trining the Virgo, so this is healing, being set free through healing. That's what I really get out of it. Being set free, and it could be miraculous healings even through, our physical body, because, this is known stuff. I mean, it's been around for years and years, Joe Dispenza, of course, and Bruce Lipton in recent years are really doing great work with it, but this stuff's been around forever, very long time. But it is, we collect this dis-ease in our environment and in our aura, and then it manifests in physical and different things. So being able to be released from that, being able to release from old ideas, old paradigms. Of course, if you have a physical thing, you need to be talking to accredited doctors. I'm not giving medical advice by any means, but just be open. In addition to that, why not be open to, and even if you're not physically having an issue, everybody's got issues of some sort. And, the Virgo can be real focused on that. Everything's got to be perfect. Let's get in there and analyze everything, those kinds of things. This whole being free from it, this whole, just seems like, it's this paradigm shift, but it's like it happens in an instant. It's these paradigm shifts, which absolutely can happen under these eclipse seasons here. And especially with the Jupiter really amping it up. I mean, it's really amping it up. But that's what I'm feeling like. A lot of things could be happening quickly. As we say goodbye to the Taurus energy, which wants everything slow, steady. Although, Jupiter will still be in there till, I think, April or May of next year, 24. And Uranus is still going to be in there. But this nodal thing, the nodes are always what we're striving for as a collective. This is it's already shifted, but this is like the last hurrah for the last couple of years. So out of this fixity, out of this one foot in front of the other, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe it could be just that quick. And often it is. It's just you make up your mind. If you hear, you hear about people's, I used to love that show Biography. I wish it was still on. And they even had the Biography channel. I love that. I wish it was still on. And I used to love to read biographies. I'm not a big fiction reader, but I used to love Well, I used to read metaphysical books and astrology books, of course, out the wazoo, but other than that, reading for pleasure, I would read biographies a lot because it's inspiring. But there's always this moment. You know, your life doesn't change in an instant, but your outlook changes in an instant. There's always this moment. And you ask anybody who's successful or who's made big changes in their life or achieved their dreams and desires, there's always this thing happened and I said, that's it, you know, I'm changing my course. Well, I could pull one of my own life real quick too, is one that my family, the bar. Those of you who watch me all the time, you know, my family, I grew up in a bar. My family had a bar my entire life. Then my brother died. I went down there to help my mom run the bar, and then she died, and I was down there by myself. And it was a lot of crazy stuff, and it was just one day. It was like that. It just hit me. This was when Pluto actually changed into Capricorn. That's when it was, right around that time. And Pluto's getting ready to make this big change too again. But I just said, you know what? Everybody in my family, this place pretty much, my family died at a young age, and it was all trying to like keep this place going. And it's like, I'm the only one here, you know, maybe hello, McFly, maybe I should. Well, I was not that into it anyway. I was always doing my spiritual work. I was always a musician and artist. I wasn't that, I went down there out of obligation, more or less, to help my mom. You know, it wasn't my jam anyway. You know, I tried to make it a cool thing. I had music playing and different stuff, but whatever. Another story. But there was that pivotal moment, for sure, where I just said, like, what the F am I doing here? You know, why am I still here? My mom's gone, my dad's gone, my brother's gone, my grandfather's gone. My grandfather dropped dead right in the building. I mean, he killed over and died right in the building. I mean, it literally killed him. You know, well, you know what I'm saying. But he died of a heart attack, but it was in the building, and it was stressful. It's a very stressful situation. But the thing is, there was that pivotal moment. And again, if you watch anybody, listen to anybody's stories or interviews or read their biographies, there is usually this big pivotal moment that comes up. This could be a time of pivotal moments for everybody, through the collective or through our individual lives, where we just are just like, this realization, whatever it takes, I'm just gonna, you know, why am I fighting to stay on this course? Why am I struggling so hard to keep this thing going? Maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's staying in your relationships, maybe it's, you know, not for everybody, of course, but, you know, why am I hanging on in a Taurian way to this so strongly when, you know, there's another way. There's always another way. We always have free will. We always have a choice. But we get fixated. That's another thing that the Virgo energy can bring in too. We get fixated on, well, it has to be hard work. That's, you know, it has to be this. It has to be that. You know, we get stuck in our old paradigm belief systems and stuff. When really, the guy's just saying, it's as easy as falling off a log. So easy, baby, easy. I'm on a key, but I can't think of what that song is. It's as easy as falling off a log. So easy, baby. I don't know what song it is. But that's their parting gift, I guess. It was the only song that came through. A lot of times you got off easy, those of you that don't like me singing. Yeah, but you know, I'm a musician, so the guides often come through, you know, with that, in that way for me, hence the whole rock and roll prophetess thing. But anyhow, this is the reading. I'm sure there's lots more. I'm sure we could just spend, you know, hours and hours, but it's a time of deep stuff, deep conclusions, letting go, realizations, deep healing. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. We're definitely turning the corner. I hope everyone has a great one. I am open for the year ahead readings for 2024, where we do look at some of the big transits, always including the eclipses and some of the other big transits to your chart specifically, and then it's followed up with a psychic tarot reading. Many of you have been ordering already. Thank you to you all, and I know many of you order every year. If you've not heard of it, you can visit my site and find out more. If you enjoy my content, please do hit the like, subscribe, and all that. Do the commenting, because that definitely triggers those algorithms and lets more people hear and see and feel the rock and roll prophetess experience. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great eclipse. We'll talk again soon.